Hey everyone, how are you doing today? As of late, I've been really trying to improve myself for the better. I actually found God pretty recently and then locked him in my basement and forced him to invest in Bitcoin for me. Which brings us to today's sponsor, God. Literally just God. But I'm not here to talk about my finances, I'm here to tell you about the peak highs I've experienced in my dull life. This week's story is about my time in high school band. More specifically, marching band. And unlike my last stories, I'm not really going to talk about one specific moment in chronological order, but instead, a few highlights that I fondly remember. So sit down and grab yourself a Coke. I've got something to tell you. So when people think of band kids, they tend to think of these weird nerds who just go around talking about music and being just all around the upholding standards for the school. And I'm here to tell you that that is completely wrong. Granted, there are times that we will do that, but for the most part, that stereotype has sort of died. What band kids tend to do these days is do as much stupid shit as possible in the most subtle of ways. Because band in music in general is an extremely strict practice, we can literally get in trouble for breathing the wrong way. And while that may deter some people from thinking of trying to get away with something that they know is wrong, most of us tend to just get creative and find other ways to get out detention. So, for the kids that are about to take their first steps into marching band, take notes. Since I figured that we were basically at the beginning of the story, I should start at the very end. So, to summarize, my band had a trip that we would take every year where we would go to a university states away to rehearse for about 5 days. Why exactly this trip was necessary for our improvement, I have no idea. I think the directors just wanted the kids to be surrounded by band for a week to prevent them from getting any outside distractions. And we were definitely surrounded by band because we would have like 8.5-hour long rehearsals every day for those 5 days. Like, it fucking sucked. But at the end of those weeks came the reward of a party on the last night staying on campus. Each floor had these sort of lounge areas where there were small rooms with a TV and minimal furniture. And while we would definitely use these rooms for their actual intended purpose for the rest of the week, we would use these rooms as the party rooms. We'd have like 50 guys all piled into this one room, jumping up and down to EDM and rave music, ramming into each other as hard as we can. It was great. But for the seniors, they did not participate in these parties after their first 3 years. Instead, they had a more calm party downstairs with the staff and the directors where they could basically do whatever they wanted for however long they'd like. This is where my story takes place. With senior year, I'm downstairs having a good time. We're all talking, eating some actually good food for once because the food there sucked, and playing beer pong. Like, we loved beer pong in band for some reason. Of course, we couldn't actually have beer because, you know, we're in high school, so we just decided to call it water pong. That doesn't really take away from the fact that we were still playing the game, because our director walked over to the table where we were all huddled around playing and was just like, dude, wait till you're older, Jesus Christ. Now a little bit of time passes and it's about 10:30 at night and we head upstairs to where the other party is. A tradition that I forgot to mention was that the seniors joined the upstairs party with the rest of our gender for about 10 minutes just to jump with all of them one last time before we graduated. We all take off our shirts, again another weird tradition, and try to knock some people down. Because of my size compared to everyone else, I literally got the name Freshman Killer. We finish our time up, thank everyone for the night, and head back downstairs to our domain. Flash forward sometime, it's almost 2 in the morning and we're playing Smash Brothers. I know, haha, typical band gig, fuck you. The chaperones tell us what time it is and tell us to head back upstairs so that we can get some rest for the morning, and we all separate by gender and head to our floors. And while they were expecting us to probably go to bed because we had to get up at like 6 in the morning the next day, me and my friends decided that we should probably hit the showers before the other classmen and head to the bathroom. And while we're in there, we were just straight up fucking around. That sounded kinda gay now that I think about it. I'm talking like the water coming out on our shower so that it turns on left to right at an even tempo, sticking our hands out of the curtain to play some rock, paper, scissors with each other, that type of stuff. So we're sitting in there singing some sea shanties because that was a thing back in 2019, and we just hear outside the curtains, what in the fuck are you doing? It turns out 3 of the juniors were just hanging out in one of the rooms, another rule that they had broken, and wanted to use the bathroom only to hear us singing. And one of these juniors just so happened to be our drum major, or conductor for you non-band kids. So we're immediately just like, count us off, and he starts conducting for us while we sing one of our little band tunes. It was hilarious. But that's not where our night ends. After the juniors leave and we all dry off, we head back into the lounge area and decide to play Uno for a bit. And this wasn't just any game of Uno. It was a modified version of the game that my friend Jay had, where you can just write in requests on the +4 cards. So, Think of how funny it would be to be staying up way too early in the morning with a bunch of dudes playing cards, trying not to get caught, only for one of your friends to put down a +4 card that just says, pick up the whole fucking deck. We were literally trying to hold our laughter in for like 5 minutes. Eventually, we got tired and decided to head to bed for the like 2 hours before sunrise that we had left. Before we left, I actually got a picture of us in the room that timed us at 3:45 in the morning. That is how long we stayed up just goofing off. Eventually, I'm sitting in my bed thinking that I probably won't get any sleep and start seeing the room fade off into the distance as I slowly lose consciousness. I'm like, okay, yeah, I need to hit the hay. While you may chalk up our stupidity that night to just us being tired from band camp and congratulating ourselves for actually making it through 4 years of it, that didn't stop us from doing dumb shit any other times. During my junior year, I bought a recorder from a thrift store and decided it was funny to bring it to every single competition and playing it on the bus the entire way there. Now, it wasn't too awful when the competitions were only like maybe an hour or 30 minutes away, but there were also longer ones where I committed to the bit. Our final competition, or state as we called it, basically forced us to take a 3-hour bus ride from 5 until 8 in the morning. Guess what dumb asshole thought it was funny to play the recorder in the back of the bus that entire ride? Not a single person on that bus that morning actually got any sleep. It is generally surprising that it wasn't snapped by the end of my senior year because I just kept doing it. There's also that one time where we had tarp sex in the band room. Which isn't actually as bad as it sounded. What it essentially was a couple of us hiding under this blue tarp in the band room during rehearsal and moving around pretending that we were in waves in the ocean because we were goofing off and had no supervision. Only for one of us to look at their phone and realize that we were being recorded and it straight up looked like we were fucking under the tarp. We started like moaning and shit, it was absolutely ridiculous. Percussion was also known for hiding shit in the panel ceilings of our closet to the point that just some of the ceiling just started breaking. Legit, there was a full ceiling with a minor crack in the corner during my freshman year, and by the time that I graduated, it was just gone. Like, there was just no longer a ceiling there. We have literally no idea how it got that bad so fast. So, that was just a little taste of what we used to do in band during high school. Would you actually believe that we were known as one of the most well-behaved bands at competitions? It turns out, mixing forced authority with a bunch of dumb kids results in some pretty funny hijinks. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the story, and I'll catch you all later.